Welcome everyone to Hammer Time for May 31st, Week 8. Only 3 games left. It's the now or never week. Uh, Maulers come off a tough defeat to the Stars, 37-31, in a game that kind of went back and forth in the first half. The second half, the offense never got going. Dumb penalties, then missed field goals, penalties on the field goals. It was just a mess in the second half. Coach Horton said that in his presser. But the first half looked pretty impressive. Everyone will say, well, the offense didn't succeed. Actually, they did pretty good. Um, you're just forgetting that Isaiah Henney, returned the ball 70 yards and gave them 4 yards to show off what they can do on offense. They punched it in every single time in the red zone. They did have turnovers, which matched the Stars, but that's an obvious one. But to say the offense wasn't that good is just a complete and utter lie. 3 things to know this week for the Stars game. We're going to start with Tizzino. Tizzino's all over the place. The guy's got 15 tackles, 8 solo, 1 behind the line of scrimmage. Tez has been fantastic, probably the best linebacker in the league this entire year. And he had to stand out by himself. Another thing is the rushing. The rushing offense for the Philadelphia Stars was very good. From the first matchup in week 3, the Stars had 18 carries for 18 yards, an average of 1. They had 4.4 here. Colburn got cooking 2 rushing touchdowns. Cook has had a couple scampers. 114 yards. Not winning football there not winning Mauler football, definitely by the defense on that rush defense. And then I showed the defensive stats for the other team, for the Stars. If you count them up, they had 5 sacks. There's 1 missing on there. And they had 6 tackles for loss. 1's missing on there as well. They lived behind the line of scrimmage. That is the biggest takeaway I take from this defeat this past week is that the Philadelphia Stars, who aren't known as a defensive juggernaut, maulered the Maulers. They dominated the line of scrimmage to the point like the Maulers' offensive line was considered like middle of the road. But after this week, they might be one of the weaker units in the league right now. A lot of different players, combinations. They got to figure out the offensive line. It's not to say that the talent's not there. It's the fact that they just have to gel as a unit. You brought in Leon Johnson. You brought in Terry Poole, who's been there for about 4 or 5 weeks now. You're bringing in Traquan Dorsey, who's been there since camp, but it was late camp. There's a lot of things. You moved out Charles Baldwin. It just a lot of the gelling needs to take place for the offensive line, which if you see it around the entire league, it's needed around the entire league. So it's not just the Maulers. They just struggled this past week. Flames, we're going to switch up the order a little bit. Flames passing offense 5 out of 10. I think Troy did all right. The numbers don't jump off the page, but like I said, if Isaiah Henney gets the ball to the 5-yard line, he only has to move the ball 5 yards. So you can't really put up tons of stats when you're kick return and you're shortening the field all the time. Rushing offense, 3 out of 10. We saw some Madre London highlights. The big scamper in the first quarter, and I was excited. If you guys watch the show, you guys know I'm a big believer in Madre London. Get the ball into his hands. But it wasn't consistent enough the entire game. Troy, again, was the leading rusher. And I really feel for this offense to take off, you need a Madre or a Dwayne Gary or a Groshek to lead the team in rushing. Troy can do it occasionally, but he shouldn't be doing it week in, week out like he is right now. Defense, I gave 5 out of 10. I think it was their worst game. I think the defense will tell you that of the entire season. The Stars, especially when they went to hurry up, could do whatever they want. I'm not worried about the defense. They have a higher standard, so that's the reason why they only get 5. But if they were an average team in this league on defense, they'd probably get a 7. They're able to slow them down a little bit. They caused a few turnovers. But our defense, the Maulers, it's a 5 out of 10, and they'll tell you that. Special teams, 7 out of 10. Josh Simmons was amazing. Isaiah Henney was amazing. the reason why I wasn't higher is that penalty, and I know Horton and Hull were talking to the refs, and the TV caught it all with that penalty that kind of put him back and took him out of field goal range. It was a tough penalty to take because now the game wouldn't be tied, and now you're chasing your opponent instead of equaling your opponent, especially because you made the kick on the penalty. Player of the week was Josh Simmons. This was the easiest one probably of all season. I think he stood out. Tez played great, but he had 7 kickoff returns. First of all, if your guy's getting 7 kickoff returns, that means you've given up 6 scores. Think about that. Like that's a big deal. Obviously, you get one at halftime or the first quarter, but for him to get 7 kickoff returns tells you what the defense gave up a lot of points. 234 yards. Then he had 3 catches on 3 targets for 19 yards. He had the big touchdown. The play of the game, one of the most interesting play of the games, Mike Pereira said it on his show this week, was when the ball right before half, Josh Simmons gets out of bounds and reaches and pick up the ball. It's all right here, man. Coach Hull does a great job coaching these guys. It's happened both years now. It's all absolutely in their head. They know the rules, and for Simmons to do that with so much ease and prepared, and it didn't seem like he was getting yelled at by the sideline to do it. Like he went in there and just did it. So that tells you that they're prepared. But Josh Simmons definitely deserves it. He was the league's player of the week for special teams as well. So congratulations, Josh. Mauler moves of the week, signing Ish Hyman from the Panthers. I think this is a giant move. When I found out that he was released, I was hoping that the Maulers would get him. First of all, so the Generals and the Stars don't. But also, or even the Gamblers. But he's a big play weapon. And he's already at practice. They're already showing highlights and everything. They released Hunter Rison. Hunter, came on. He was one of my first interviews on Hammer Time. Great guy. We wish him nothing but the best in the future endeavors. And Malcolm Howard went to the IR. You might have heard Trey Tarpley and Isaiah Henney call him Malcolm out on the interviews or a sideline microphone that caught it. Malcolm Howard was a big part of this team and a leader, and we hope for him to recover, but he was already back at practice. So we go to week 8. It's time to move on. Week 8, noontime, USA, Canton. We're back on USA, our network. It's time to put up or shut up. I know that's kind of blunt, but this is it. This is the game that the Maulers need to put a completed team effort. This is the game for us, for the Maulers to get to the playoffs. They have to match whatever the Panthers do this week and then win out. They have to do that. They have to. If the Panthers beat the Breakers, the Maulers have to win against the Gamblers. Otherwise, it's an uphill. Then you're hoping for other people. If you want to control your own destiny, you have to match the Panthers this week and then win out. So this is the week. We go first. The Maulers go first against the Gamblers. So you don't know what the Panthers are going to do. So just win, right? Just win. It's real simple. Who to prep for? Mark Thompson, 83 yards per game, 11 touchdowns. Think about that, 11 touchdowns. The Maulers offense doesn't even have that many, especially on rushing. Mark Thompson is a beast, and he's done that in 5 games. Absolutely, he's the best back in the league. Mark Thompson is someone that they have to be able to control for them to win this week. Justin Hall is the receiver to watch out for. 33 catches. He's the top guy. I think he's 5th in the league. 374 yards, 4 touchdowns. He was big plays against the Boats, like back in week 2 to win the game. Definitely a weapon that the Maulers the secondary has to prep for. What it seems like the Gamblers like to do is they like to use all their receivers kind of balanced. So you have to focus on all of them, and then it opens up Mark Thompson down the middle. If you look at Mark Thompson's touchdowns, they're basically all the same, right? Like they are absolutely all the same. Like a sweep to the right, a sweep to the left. So look forward to that. Four things kind of switched up the process this week. Cook as a team. That's what is up there in the top left. The whole team has to cook. It can't just be the special teams doing well or the offense or the defense. The whole team has to. And the second one's team effort. So, as you can see, that is a theme this week. That it has to be a complete team effort. Safe and secure is the bottom right. Keep the ball safe. Stop turning over the ball. Don't give them short field position. They have a running game that can beat you. And then loud on defense. I want the defense talking. I want Michigan Panthers kind of presence on the defense. I want Foster hitting everyone, Tez hitting everyone, come over the middle, Dale Warren when he gets in there. I would love to see the defensive line get a couple sacks, Boogie, Olive, and then Mark Gilbert and Keith Gibson and the rest of the secondary just contain the receivers. I think Gilbert can control Hall. Anthony Ratliff Williams can be controlled by Keith Gibson. I think they have an offense that doesn't scare anyone unless you get Mark Thompson cooking. That's the one guy that can carry the team by himself. Hammer find of the week. I definitely switched it up on you now. All right. Everybody knows this. The three coordinators. Because it's a complete team effort, right? Like without a doubt, we have to have a complete team effort here. And the three coordinators are definitely important here. They're going to represent every single aspect of the Maulers. Jaron Horton, defense. The defense needs to control Thompson. Don't let Bahar succeed. Win first downs and no penalties. I know. It sounds like I just said play the perfect game. Well, guess what? They have to. Right? Bahar has 7 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. We cannot let Bahar beat us this week. Cannot. He has a lower QBR than Troy. Everyone criticizes Troy, but Bahar kind of is bailed out because he's on Mark Thompson. Make Bahar beat him. I will say that you have to win on first downs because they are the best at completing third down conversions. They complete at 52.4%. They are the best in the league. So we got to win first and second down. We got to make it. We got to make it so Bahar has to get that first down, not hand it off to Thompson or some option run by himself. Make Bahar's arm beat you. And I think with this defense could lead to some interceptions. Coach Hull, special teams, return of excellence. That's what I'm calling Simmons and Henny together. I didn't want to do any things possible because what about our boy Josh Simmons? So return of excellence. They got to keep returning the ball. They got to give this offense good field position. But on the other side, you got to slow down the kickoffs. Terry Wright had a good game. He probably would have been the special teams player of the game if Simmons didn't have the big return, jump out of bounds, all the heads-up plays, and Henny didn't have the big play. Terry Wright had a pretty good game. Kickoff coverage has to get better. I think Coach Hull will tell you that, and I think the Maulers will tell you that. It's tough in this league because everything's kickoff, right? Everything's getting returned. But if I consider it a win if you drop anyone before the 40. But it's when it gets to that 45, that 50, now we're starting to get in field goal range, or one first down puts us in field goal range or close to field goal range. I really feel that you should aim for the 30 and the 40. And if you do that, that's considered a win. But Terry Wright was getting it to midfield. And then you gave quarterback like Cookus a shorter field. And you kind of gave up some yards. This week, you got to make them run the ball from 70 yards, right? That's what you got to do. And eliminate penalties on special teams. It seems like every week we kind of get one penalty and we're like, man, that one killed us. This week obviously was the play clock. While the team and the coaching staff are probably right about the what happened with the clock and all that, it's no reason to not be able to succeed. You got to eliminate penalties. Horton said in his presser. Big Horton said that in his presser. Offense, John Tomlinson. Let it rip. I think it's this week to rip the entire Band-Aid off and just go for it. Trust Troy. I think this is the perfect defense. They don't create a ton of turnovers. Trust Troy. I really believe that this is the week to do it. Their defense is very balanced. No one stands out a ton. No, Manny Bunch had a great game last week, but he doesn't put that up every week. He's really good. I'm not saying he's not talented. I just feel like they spread the love. Sometimes their defensive line dominates. Sometimes their passing defense. They succeed at different things. Defense coordinator Chris Wilson's pretty good. He's got a Super Bowl ring. So get the ball to the playmakers. Get the ball into Henny's hands. Get the ball into Troy's hands, Bailey Gaither's hands. Matty Saber, say what you said, what you want to say. He's a big play every single time. Big first down. He's done his entire career. Go look at Michigan State. Get the ball to him. And then Madre London. I want to see Madre London. I know I say it every week or just about every week. I'm a big believer in Madre. I think it's time to get the ball into his hands. When he had that 20-yard, everyone was like, okay. It made social media because he had a 20-yard run. That was a big play for the team. So get the ball into Madre's hands. So the three coordinators are the hammer finder of the week because you need a complete team effort. It's now or never. So, and that does it for Hammer Time week 8. It's Gambler Week. My rivalry with Ace on USFL Authority. So this is a big week personally. New episodes at 5 p.m. Eastern Wednesday. Dinner with Webb. It's been a theme. I used the word cooking a few times today. So it's time to go. This is a big one. Match. Remember, for the Maulers to get in the playoffs, they have to match the Panthers and then win out. And they control their own destiny if they do that. Now, a lot of different things can happen if not all the North teams match this week. And I'm not talking about the Stars. I'm talking about the Panthers, Generals, and Maulers. But for the easiest route to understand right now with 3 games to go, match and win out. It's pretty simple. All right. I thank you for tuning in. There's a longer episode. It's Gamblers Week. Historically, it's a good week for the Panthers. The Maulers. All right. Web out. Hammer down.